Welcome back to the channel. A brand new vision for the Altered State machine, the Prysms mint for the Third Kingdom goes live, plus a whole bunch more. This is Into the Futureverse. Now smash that like button and let's get into it. Okay, so much to cover since the last video, so let's dive straight into things. The Outlier Ventures Basecamp Accelerator has completed, and 7 projects out of 500 entries have been incubated and mentored by the team at Outlier Ventures. Let's explore some of these projects and how they can add value to the ecosystem. Starting with Nucanon. Leveraging a large language AI model, Nucanon aims to be your co-pilot in lore and story creation, and it can even integrate image generation and advanced text-to-speech for voice actors and narration of your lore. It's not very hard to see how this could integrate into other existing Futureverse technologies, such as DOT, Doc, and Gen AI. Soon, we may well be able to create our own games and stories with fully rigged 3D compatible avatars or non-playing characters with a depth of character and emotion, complete with an accompanying storyline, music, and lore, all without any technical skills. Nucanon has already built a minimal viable product, formed key partnerships with gaming studios, and has over 5,000 people on its waitlist. It's going to be fascinating to see how all of these technologies converge and integrate with the Futureverse tech stack. Next up, we have a project called Mint Pass Travel. Mint Pass is a travel companion app, allowing users to share travel experiences and recommendations while being rewarded for their reviews. During the Basecamp, Mint Pass established a go-to-market strategy targeting both Web 2 and 3 markets. Furthermore, they created a token-based economy model and established a funding pipeline as they move towards a pre-seed round. Impressively, they've already established partnerships with key travel entities with the likes of Expedia, Hotels.com, and Skyscanner. Here's a few words from their co-founder, Sampson Simmons, on a recent Untangling Web3 podcast.
What I had identified back in 2021 and coming out of COVID, when people weren't able to travel, what we found is that a lot of people attach their identities to the places they love to visit. And when they weren't able to visit those places, they lost a part of themselves in the process. So there was this clear need and a clear demand for this, like you would think of like traditional NFT PFP, where it's meant to be a community identifier, where we saw the potential for creating that in the world of travel, but that identifier is one's experiences. So being not only able to identify oneself by the places that they've been, but being able to create community around a shared love of certain destinations in a way that creates more fruitful travel experiences at large. So at the end of the day, why can't that be made digital, and why can't that be made better by doing so?
Sampson has also spun up a regular travel-focused Web3 X Space, so be sure to give him a follow. His link is in the description. Okay, next up is Intraverse. Intraverse is a gaming as a service platform that allows NFT projects, IPs, and brands to create their own gaming experiences based off of existing templates, such as kart racing games and 1v1 combat games. The Intraverse platform enables brands to produce their own studio quality white label templates with Web3 tooling and create meaningful interactions with their audiences. The brands can then run the gaming activations at a cost-effective rate, with game studios able to provide their previously developed gaming templates as ready-to-use solutions via Intraverse. Maybe we'll see some gaming templates using the Root network in future. Here's Aaron McDonald's quick take on the Basecamp teams.
We've always said that we're not building the metaverse, you are. Today you can see a really great cross-section of very high-quality founders who have made it through the grueling task of being selected, 1 in 500 to come into this program and to work with us to make that vision a reality. I'm so stoked that we have these teams building, connecting and integrating with what we're doing, and hopefully, through what I've heard today, that we're providing the same kind of value back to them and opportunities to grow what they're doing, because that's really what it's all about. Think of the areas we touched on today, usability, storytelling, payments, the Vision Pro and what XR is going to mean, increasing utility for gamers, gameplay options for gamers. There's a huge array of things there that will bring value and life to the Futureverse ecosystem and what's been built on Root. So thank you to you, the builders. I've been in your shoes, I'm in your shoes. I know how hard it is. And we're here to support you, and hopefully the community can get behind you too and help make your dreams a reality.
The Futureverse has dropped not 1 but 2 games recently, with both RAICERS, the AI kart racing game, and the Muhammad Ali Next Legends going live on the Futureverse Launcher desktop application. Both games are receiving great feedback and updates and are continually being shipped. The launcher itself aims to be a competitor to Steam, but for decentralized gaming. Think of it like the Apple App Store, but for Web3 games, all powered by elements of the Futureverse tech stack. Very cool stuff. Personally, I love races, and my kids do too. The incentive loops based around Asto, rewarding the winners of each race their share in the pot of Asto raised for each race, is a very clever and addictive mechanism. But if you're not keen on spending your precious Asto to buy tickets for the game, there are also windows of regular free races. This is a fantastic way to test the configuration of your karts, driver and ASM brain combinations to further optimize your setup for different tracks. The traits of your ASM brain can greatly vary the way your driver navigates each track, and certain kart configurations are better suited to different race environments. And both games are demand drivers for the Asto token and provide utility for ASM brains, which is a nice segue into the extensive Altered State Machine 2.0 vision paper. Unsurprisingly, it's quite a technical read, but some of the developments within it are astounding. Here's my attempt at a high-level summary around some of the key points that you need to get your head around. The Murmur Matrix is a framework that adds context to both 2D and 3D spaces and the assets within them. This allows game experiences to feel more real, alive, and organic. And thanks to the ASM brains, this historical context can be retained and built on over time. This is perfect for evolving storylines and gameplay that feels fresh, and that may take different paths based on in-game interactions while you play, or indeed changes in the environment or broader community while you're away. As objects, avatars, and environments frequently interact, the murmurs between them strengthen. This creates a data layer between composability and ownership. The Murmur Matrix evolves and validates the primary spatial understanding of the metaverse collectively based on the actions chosen by the collective. And while that might sound very wordy, basically it's defining a shared consciousness or culture within a specific metaverse setting or environment, one that is organic and self-learning, and one that is not necessarily strictly controlled by a game developer. Worlds and experiences could literally take on a life of their own. Pretty cool. In summary, the Murmur Matrix drives AI learning into an entirely new direction. One that can comprehend ever-changing complex spatial environments and react appropriately within them. And with the increasing adoption and investment in AR, VR and XR technologies, this will likely prove very significant in future applications. So it's one to keep an eye on, and another patent that the ASM has applied for. Another significant part of the vision paper revolves around the update to the altered state machine brains themselves, with the introduction of the emotional palette. In simple terms, this enhances the ASM brains from simply learning new skills or physical attributes to adding a depth of emotion and personality to our AI agents. Next up in the vision paper is a suite of AI tools, and when used together, DOT, DOC and UBF allows non-technical users to dream up their own 3D interoperable assets. Users will be able to create game-ready assets via the pipeline from text and image inputs, and the auto battler game Grumble has recently shown several examples of exactly that, with 3 new weapons being introduced into the game, including my favourite, the Puffer Stick. Aaron McDonald took to X to showcase some of the tech in basically real time, demonstrating how 2D assets could get converted into fully functioning 3D ones with little effort. Here are some examples. He also leaked some interoperability between the Bored Ape Yacht collection. BAYC holders will soon be able to unleash a 3D version of their Bored Apes for use in the metaverse, all powered by the Altered State Machine Futureverse asset pipeline. Significantly in the vision paper, there is mention about the evolution of the ASM protocol, including the value proposition of the Asto token. The introduction of these new concepts listed in the vision paper will all add value to the ASM patent portfolio while driving further utility and value to both the Asto token and ASM brains. Staking Asto will still be used to generate new brains as memory containers, and Asto will be used to pay for fees to run compute and memory storage to use the protocol. The ASM genome matrix will require an update to fall in line with these new standards and require migration to the root network. This migration will result in infinitely more utility to the ecosystem as a whole. As long speculated on this channel, the team from Walker World, Walker Labs, has officially become a part of the Futureverse family, and 2 big announcements have followed. the introduction of Open, and the eagerly anticipated launch of the Third Kingdom. The team at Walker Labs is stacked with top-tier gaming talent, and their previous gameplay trailers have looked next level. Open is the AAA game that the Walker Labs team have been working on for years already. However, it's now being blended in with the Ready Player One franchise and has taken on a whole new life. It's been described as a genre-defining AAA metaverse gaming experience, interoperable with top-tier IP, a multi-biome, multi-IP, multi-mode battle royale experience, in development for PC and next-gen platforms. And some of those platforms are seemingly being hinted at within this trailer. I'm sure you can join the dots. Showcasing a variety of gaming disciplines with tactical positioning, slide movement, strategic shooting and driving skills taking center stage, collaborate with allies, strategize for advantages, and immerse yourself in intense gameplay sessions. We can expect the first activations for Open to come within the next 12 months. As any true gamer knows, high quality AAA gaming titles take years to develop, so it might be something we have to gradually grow into over time. Shortly after the announcement of Open was the release of Surrealscapes, the land that we will use within the Third Kingdom strategy game. The strategy game was also being worked on by the Walker World team as a mini game to keep their community busy while they built out their main title, which is now going to be Open. The mini game has now been passed over to the Futureverse team to be completed as the Third Kingdom, while Walker Labs continues to focus on Open. Planning for the Third Kingdom was already well underway in the Futureverse when the deal was brokered. However, given the similarities with the Walker World minigame, it made complete sense to take that existing work and add to it. The Surrealscapes represent different biomes with mineable resources, and some are themed around existing Web3 projects, as a way to introduce the game to a broader audience and highlight the power of the interoperability of the Futureverse tech stack. The Deadfellas NFT collection is linked to the apocalyptic biome, while Cool Cats is linked to a volcanic environment dubbed Cataclysm, which was co-designed by the Cool Cats team themselves, and the Doodles collection was dropped an absolutely amazing looking biome, Rainbow Topia. Over 300 million root tokens are on offer in Season 1 of the Third Kingdom, which looks to be made up of multiple episodes, each with a particular task or mission to complete. To optimize mining resources on your land, you can deploy up to 3 prisms on each land plot that makes up your Surrealscapes. There will also be utility for many existing Futureverse and partner assets as the game evolves, and you can take part in Quest 9 by minting yourself a prism with a prism voucher. There will also be options for free-to-play gamers to take part in the game in some way. The full details of the game though will never be known, and we will simply have to play and be along for the ride to find out. Both Prisms and Surrealscapes are available on the Marketplace now. Included with the release of the Third Kingdom, the Futureverse dropped yet another ambitious vision paper, this time around a new protocol dubbed the Material World. In the open metaverse, user-owned content and data drive experiences. With Futureverse tech built on Root, the Material World breaks down boundaries between game worlds, enabling transfer of inventories, materials, items and recipes across platforms and games. Bringing communities and developers together, the Material World concept will enable the game developers to shorten time to market, engage existing player bases, and cut development costs with its easy implementable resource system. The Material World opens doors for all, allowing creation and sharing of materials without technical barriers. With user-friendly interfaces and APIs, it's about inclusivity in a world of open standards. The Third Kingdom isn't just a thrilling strategy game, it's also the cornerstone of the testing and refining of the Material World protocol. In a recent X Space with the Doodles community, Aaron McDonald had this to say about the Material World protocol.
It's kind of a competitive strategy simulation game. There's a big pot of, I think, 300 million root up for grabs in Season 1. So players can come in there, optimize their strategy and compete for a share of those rewards. It's actually laying the groundwork for this thing called the Material World. Just like we talked about earlier, interoperative for avatars or wearables or those kinds of things. We think materials that exist in one game could be useful in another game. And so
like ores and food.
Yeah, exactly. So every gamer goes, through Game Studio goes through building these kind of very similar underlying materials inside of their environments, and especially independent studios, one of the big things you struggle with is getting bootstrapping, liquidity and value for those things, and also attracting users. And so if you can create this underlying material world of objects and resources, then other people can tap into them and build in that metaverse of resources to attract users who might want to go and kind of use their stuff somewhere else, or to bootstrap the economy of their own game and give it some real value to start off with.
Oh, hey, you can use those resources that you got from over there, and there's maybe a pot of resources available to those who come over first or something like that.
Exactly.
Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos. Bunnies up!